Hi students, this is a video on 4-2. For 4-1, it was the ed puzzle, and all you need to know from 4-1 is percent means out of 100. Before you copy the 4-2 notes, leave a blank page for your table of contents. You can pause the video now. Example 1. We are going to be using the percent proportion from your notes to solve percent problems. Please don't use any other shortcuts you may have learned in the past. We want to use a percent proportion for this lesson to solve all of these percent problems. Percent proportion is always part over whole equals percent over 100. Now you just look at the information that you are given and you go ahead and plug it into these three places and then solve the proportion. You're solving for a percent, so what you do not know is what goes over 100. So I'm going to put that right there. 72 comes after the word of, and whatever comes after the word of is usually the whole, and it's the denominator on the left side. Now, the 18 represents the part. So now I've set up my percent proportion. 18 is the part of 72, and now I'm trying to solve for the part of 100, which is the percent. I follow the exact same steps for cross multiplying like we did in 3-6. 72 times x is 72x. Keep my equal signs lined up. 18 times 100 is 1,800. I divide both sides by 72, keeping my equal signs straight, and x is going to equal 25. Being that I'm solving for a percent, my answer is 25%. For example 2, I again am going to use my percent proportion, which I've already set up here. And now I just have to plug in the numbers to the correct spots. Here I'm given 35%, so if you're given the percent, it's always going to go over 100. The word that comes after of is 90, and that usually indicates 90 is the whole or the base. What I don't know is the part. I'm trying to find the part that is 35% of 90. Now I follow my same cross multiplication steps, and x times 100 is 100x. Sorry, wrong color. 35 times 90 is going to be 3,150. I divide both sides by 100, and x is going to be 31.5. That is the part out of 90 that represents 35%. Percent proportions are very useful in word problems, so go ahead and read this word problem. And again, you can use a percent proportion to solve for it. Being that the question is asking what percent, my x will go here, 12 out of 75 would go here, and I would go ahead and follow my same steps that we've done in the past for solving a percent proportion. And when I divide both sides by 75, I get an answer of 16%. Please go ahead and read this fourth and final example. And remember, we are going to use a percent proportion for all problems in 4-2. They are very useful for setting up percent problems. The key information is here highlighted. I have to put the 20% and the 260 milligrams somewhere in my percent proportion. The 20% is the easier one. I know it's going to go over 100. The 260 is a little bit trickier, but what this label means on the back of this milk is 20% of calcium represents 260 milligrams. So the 260 and the 20%, they go together, so they're both going to be the numerators. What I don't know is the whole. So now I'm going to solve the proportion with x as my denominator, and I'm going to try to figure out what is the whole that 260 represents 20% of. Now when I cross multiply, like I do for all percent proportions, I'm going to get 20x equals 2600. When I divide both sides by 20, x is going to be 1,300 milligrams. So my whole in this case is 1,300 milligrams. The 260 represents 20% of that whole.